Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hello again, GTL fans. Excuse me, not a good way to start. Should have cleared my throat before. Yeah, we're back again. I was up early for Ashley Barty, giving you a little bit of coverage on that one. She has gone through convincingly into the quarterfinals, but we're here to discuss all of the other quarterfinals as well, because there were some interesting things happening overnight whilst we were asleep, weren't there, JG?
Yeah, mate, there were some interesting things, some pretty run-of-the-mill expected stuff. Daniil Medvedev cruising through in straight sets. Same with the other Russian, Rublev. Them two are just on fire right now. And it was inevitable. I think everyone in our bracket had them two meeting. If you didn't, I don't know what you've been watching the last few months, because I feel like it was just meant to be them two again in another Grand Slam, playing this time in a quarterfinal of the Australian Open. Medvedev always has the better of Rublev. I don't know. People are actually predicting that Rublev could make a bit of a comeback this year and finally get one over on Medvedev.
Well, no better time than now, I think. Yeah. It's just he's been waiting long enough to get that one back. But, Medvedev looks in ridiculous form as well. He's your winner or prediction. My one, Novak Djokovic, is slightly more under the weather, let's say, and people sort of writing him off a little bit. He's dropped sets in the last two of his matches now. Yeah, and he still looked good against Raonic, but there was still like a little questions above that match, just saying like, is that the real Djokovic or not? I mean, in spells, yeah, but in the full match, not sure. It's the jury's out. We're going to find out against Alex Zverev, that's for sure, because that's someone who's really going to test him. Zverev's been in incredible form, only lost one set in the whole tournament. It was the first set of the tournament. So he just started slow, and since then he's been great. So, and you predicted Zverev to knock out Novak Djokovic in this.
Yeah, I did that right at the beginning. So this is my moment, hopefully. You've had your one with Dominic Thiem and Dimitrov. Hopefully I get mine with Zverev Djokovic, but we'll see how it goes. Just big shout out to everyone who's joined us for this one. We've got Mary here. How we doing? James 2X as well. Thanks, mate. Almino, Brandon's here. And I just lost it now. James is asking, Medvedev is a huge favourite, 1-3. Do you think that's fair?
Is that for the tournament?
Yeah, to win the tournament.
I mean, the form he's in, but
because pre-tournament it would have been Novak Djokovic, wouldn't it? It would have been the clear favourite outright with the bookies.
4.5 outside.
Medvedev would have been a close second with. I think he was tied with Dominic Thiem, and then Rafa was just sort of making up the third space, like fourth spot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you've still got I mean, it's difficult because you don't really know how legitimate Novak's injury is or how much it's really troubling him. So you'd think that Medvedev, in the form he's in, is sort of warranted at the moment, but he did drop a couple of sets, so he's not invincible either. He still can be pegged back. Krajinovic managed to do 2 sets on him, so and he obviously came back and won 6-love in the final set. But I still think that there's a few questions to be answered there. He cruised past Mackenzie McDonald. He still hasn't faced anyone who can really trouble him yet. For me, he shouldn't have even come close with Krajinovic. Rublev is the man, and now we're going to find out what Rublev's made of. This is his chance now. Are you going to be a big Grand Slam player in 2021? Are you going to push all of the top players? You've got into the top 10 now. Are you going to now push into contention for top 5? This is his it's his moment, isn't it? Yeah, his coming out party, really. If he manages to beat Daniil Medvedev here, the favourite of the tournament, then surely Rublev will turn into the favourite in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Hopefully Medvedev can win for my sake, because I predicted Medvedev to win the whole thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if Rublev maybe sneaks a set. It's not happened recently. US Open, it was straight sets. I think our last few times they've played, it's always been straight sets Medvedev. But Rublev's getting closer. He had set points the last time they played. I think he was up a break in the second as well. So you never know. And this tournament, he's not dropped a set, has he? So maybe we'll get on to some of them matches, which we had last night.
Indeed, mate. Should I bring it up?
Yeah, bring up the matches from last night. While you do that, I'll just answer some questions here. So we've got Cal here saying, if Novak keeps talking about having a back injury and was winning in straight sets like Rafa is, would he be given the same trust and sympathy, or would he be called an actor and a cheat?
Well, so, well, I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? And I don't even like all of these things that people bring up about players and just saying that they're acting and cheating and all of this type of thing. Because at the end of the day, you have no idea. Like, there's nobody knows apart from the player themselves. You can't.
Okay, but there's one thing though. There's one thing for me which I want to talk about with this. Novak Djokovic plays not McDonald. He plays Taylor Fritz, and he's down. He's down. He's playing really quite bad at the time. He's gone to a fifth set. People are expecting him to potentially not get knocked out by Taylor Fritz. He's injured. He looks visibly distressed. He's just dropped. He's from 2 sets up, and he's now pulled it all the way back to 2-2. He then comes out. He wins the match. Plays ridiculous tennis in the 5th set. He comes out after the match, and he goes to the lady on the court. I really struggled. I've definitely 100%, without a doubt, torn a muscle, and sort of signaling to his abdominal. So he's torn a muscle in his abdominals.
Yeah.
The next match, he then says, I've got no certainty that I'll be able to play in 48 hours. I'm just going to rest and see if I can do it. All of a sudden, then, he can play. He plays very well against Raonic. After that match, they asked the same question. How's the injury? You looked okay today? And he was like, I was in pain throughout. It was tricky. And I'm not saying I doubt any of this. I guarantee you, I'm pretty sure he does have some kind of injury. But then he was saying, we're very reluctant to answer any more questions about his injury, dismissing the fact that it's a personal thing, and I can't say with no certainty what I've done. When the previous match, he's 100% certain he's torn a muscle.
Yeah, but
and if you haven't torn a muscle, it's all a bit mind games and stuff, isn't it? You can never
he's not
be 100%. He's not a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. You can't know there and then after the match. Like, did the doctor come on quickly and just go, yeah, definitely, mate. You definitely pulled a muscle, mate. Yeah, I've just grabbed you. We haven't done any sort of physio, anything to even work it out. Just there in a post-match interview, he probably felt at the time like something had torn or something, but it might just be like, I don't know, something that's much less, like 20% or something. It might not be 100, but it might just felt like it at the time, and he just was fatigued, maybe. So it just
as far as I know, he's also come out afterwards and saying that the doctors have confirmed it's a tear and stuff. And I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but if it is, Ben, you'll see what happened with Berrettini today. Berrettini is suffering with something very similar against in the previous match. I forget who he beat now. Berrettini. Khachanov. He suffered with the same thing. And you see him visibly serving. His serving dropped off massively in the final few sets. He pulled out today. He can't continue. Like, I understand Novak Djokovic is a champion, but if you've torn your muscle, there's no way you can play. So for me, it's a lot of acting, which is, I don't know, acting's maybe a harsh word. I think he's just dramatizing everything, dramatizing a lot. He's probably got a bit of a niggle. I don't think it's as bad as what he makes it out to be.
Well, it's possible. I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's just you're never going to know. You're never really going to know the full truth, because it's up to him whether he wants to disclose if it's actually as bad as it is or if it's not as bad as it is. You can only take what he says. I think everybody just has to realize you can take everything with a pinch of salt. Even if these top players say, "Oh, I've got a bit of a back injury," like Rafa, he's still one of the best players ever to play this. He's still going to beat a lot of players. Even if he's in pain, Novak will still beat majority of the players on tour. You could be top 10. He's still probably going to beat you, but he'll do it in pain. It's just the way those players are. That's how they have 17 Grand Slams, 20 Grand Slams. They don't get Grand Slams by just going, "Oh, my back hurts a bit, I'm pulling out. Oh no, tournament." No, they just go, suck it up and just go, "I'll deal with that later." And that's what he's doing, I think, in person. But personally, he comes out after the match and says, "I was in agony the whole time," and he probably is really stressed during the match, but he gets through it. He's like a person who would probably achieving anything in his life in any sport.
He's certainly injured. I don't like people keep coming out and criticising. I've seen certain media outlets saying Djokovic is faking the whole thing. It's a load of rubbish. He's 2 sets up against Taylor Fritz. Why is he going to want to fake an injury?
No.
It's the most pathetic thing I've heard, really. I don't think he's doing that. He's just dramatising the whole thing, probably making it sound a little bit worse than what it is, lulling the opposition into a false sense of security and beating them. Nothing really wrong with it, to be honest. It's just very dramatic. Not my style. I don't like it personally, but what am I to say? If it's going to win him the championship and he goes all the way and takes the trophy, fair play, in my opinion.
Well,
there's a lot worse things to be a lot worse things to be doing, I think.
Well, mate, exactly. I think at the end of the day, he's always going to make the headlines for anything that he says. So he can't win for me, Novak. Whenever he says anything, there's always somebody's going to pick it apart and turn him into the bad guy. And they really need to stop doing it. He hasn't really said or done anything that wrong here. He's just said he was feeling injured and then played well. I mean, how does that get you a bad press? If anything, give the guy a round of applause for playing and just trust what he's saying. Stop just being distrusting of tennis players all the time.
But anyway, let's move on to some other things. Because Cal there, we answered the question well. Thanks for that. Wonderful answer. Yeah, sorry, we didn't expect to go on so long. Yeah. John was just saying, if Djokovic is 100%, Zverev will take him out. That's bold.
Wow. Well, Zverev has all the ability. I think this is his best chance to actually knock out Novak Djokovic in a competition in his whole career so far. I mean, I think that they played obviously fairly recently, and Djokovic sort of has a sort of easy win over him, I think, to be fair. I still think Zverev is improving a lot if he serves well. And I think he looks mentally a lot better at this time. And I think that he's all of those problems that he had are sort of forgotten about for the moment, and he looks really promising. So I think I'm actually starting to warm a little bit more to Zverev now. I want to see him do well. He's a young guy. I want to see him now flourish, and now the next gen sort of trying to come through, and actually we see some great tennis from them. I don't want to see that always them just getting pulverized by the big three, because at some point we're going to lose the big three, and we want to see the promising next gen. And if they can produce top tennis consistently, that's the key. And at the moment, he's playing very well in this tournament. Dropped 1 set, and other than that, he's looked pretty much faultless, really.
Yeah, and I can confirm we will be doing a live watch along for that in about 20 hours. I usually just say the hours now, because otherwise, if I just say tomorrow morning, everyone gets very confused with where they are in the world. So as long as I tell you, we'll be doing that match regardless. Zverev versus Djokovic. It's going to be a really good one. I think we're going to see both players take sets. I reckon Zverev can do it, but it's going to be really tough.
Dan there in the chat, good to have you in, Dan. He's saying Zverev normally has 2 or 3 long matches by now, like 5-setters, 4-setters.
He always drops sets. He's not done it this year, which is very weird, to be fair.
Exactly. That's a good sign of he's improving. And he's been to a Grand Slam final now. So why can't he get to another one? I think in his mind, that will drive him on. I want to get that Grand Slam now. I was so close. I was 2 sets to love up in the Grand Slam final. Come on. I mean, what more incentive do you need? But I think that he could be a real threat to Novak here. That's what I personally think. No,
certainly. I think he's going to be a threat. I think it's going to be a really close match. I'm just going for Zverev to edge it slightly. Maybe he's not played so much tennis.
Shall I bring up the other graphic?
More fresher. Yeah, bring up the other graphic.
Just so that you can see.
We just didn't speak about Nadal Fognini. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. We can speak about it when we go to the to his round, because we're obviously not needing to speak about Berrettini Tsitsipas. So yeah, this is the lineup. Anyway, I'll make that a little bit bigger for you guys. There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
So that is our lineup.
This is the final 8. This is the final 8 of the Australian Open this year, and it's to be pretty expected who they all are. It's only the number 3 and 4 down the list: Dimitrov, Karatsev. You'd expect it to have been Dominic Thiem and Schwartzman, and then we'd have had the whole Nitto ATP finals again.
Well, exactly. It's crazy, isn't it? It's just mad, isn't it? And I had somebody else in the comments earlier on in the Barty match saying that's how many? We've got Medvedev, we've got Rublev, and then you've apparently Tsitsipas and Zverev there, and we got Medvedev, Rublev, Karatsev, Russian, and apparently Zverev and Tsitsipas is one of their parents is Russian as well. So they said that there's all this Russian heritage coming through the draw, and they've only got Djokovic, Nadal, and Dimitrov are the only ones who are without that. So,
interesting.
Bit crazy that I didn't realize that Tsitsipas as well had some Russian in him, but that's news to me. But if that's the case, that's pretty crazy statistics and some good bloodline there. The Russians smashing it up.
Yeah, Jamie, there. Russia's winning. Obviously, they won the ATP Cup just before this as well. So no one can stop them right now. And talking about stopping the Russians, can Dimitrov do it? That's what I want to know. Can he stop Karatsev?
Well, mate, it's the big question. The cat or the lion? I don't know. He's turning into more of a lion these days rather than a cat. I don't know. If for me, I think the odds-on bet is for Karatsev to get a set off of him for starters. I think it's possible. I think Karatsev can take a set from Dimitrov. Whether he can do the whole lot, Dimitrov's looking pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. It might be a step too far for Karatsev. But
did you have Dimitrov going out in this round?
Yeah, I did to Schwartzman, didn't I? Like a fool. I was thinking that Schwartzman would be able to compete on these fast hard courts, but it was more down to injuries. I thought he was just going to.
I agree with Team Groves. Come on, Karatsev, keep the story going. It would be nice to see the story. But if I'm speaking from my head, I think Dimitrov's going to have a little bit too much. I think both players will take a set, but Dimitrov will advance there.
Yeah,
the top one we've spoke about. It's a very tight one. It's a very, very tight one. I've said my opinion on it, and I'm kind of going with what I said at the beginning of the tournament. But anything's really possible there. Djokovic will be the favourite, regardless of the injury or not.
How many sets do you think?
I think it could be a 5-setter, to be honest.
Same. I think it could be 5 sets, but I reckon it could be Novak in 5, and it might be a real grinding 5th set where he just gets the mental edge on Zverev, maybe. That's what I'm thinking.
Mate, imagine a semi-final, Djokovic-Karatsev, and then Karatsev beats him. That would just be the most 2020 thing. It's in the wrong year, isn't it, this Grand Slam?
And it's bad for me to say, but I would probably be cheering on Karatsev, not my man who I need to win in my bracket, because Karatsev's just
Mate, if Karatsev gets to the final, I think I would cheer him on too, even if it was against Medvedev, because I think it would just be one of the greatest sporting stories.
It's like Leicester City winning the Premier League, isn't it? It's like that's that big.
Everyone loves an underdog, I feel. Mate, and especially an underdog who we've spoken to and we've actually been following ridiculously well on the whole podcast for the last year, really. Since we started, we've been talking about Karatsev, and since the pandemic, post-pandemic, he's been one of the best players to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
We even nominated him, didn't we, for our 2020 awards? People don't realise all these things.
Mate, exactly. And I was speaking to Ilya Marchenko this morning, who's good friends with him, and he was just saying to me, he was like, but you think that you released your Karatsev video a little bit too soon now, don't you? I was like, yeah, maybe if we put it out now, it would really be popping. But still, if you haven't watched it, go back. He's a man of few words. I was talking about that in the Abati one earlier, that clip you sent me, when he said, the journalist asking him that question. So, what happened after 2 sets down with Felix? Like, you seem to go off court. Did you really regather yourself and really, what were you saying to yourself off court? I just went toilet.
It's reassuring to know he's like that with everyone and not just us and hates game to love. But he's very dry. He's a very dry individual with his personality. But mate, he definitely shows it on the court, and he is just an epic tennis player.
Yeah, mate, he is real good. And plus, you just see he's very quietly spoken off the court, but then on the court, he is like ferocious, like with some of his screaming, like "Come on!" He's like really gets into it, doesn't he? It's pretty scary. So maybe Dimitrov might get a bit intimidated by him, but for me, I think Dimitrov might be too good. He's got a lot of experience at this stage of the competition in Grand Slam.
I think a lot of people agree with that as well. We've got Dan Rodham, he's saying Dimitrov wins, more variation with the backhand and attacking the net very well.
Yes.
Jugoslav as well going. Dimitrov plays
very good.
Plays very good. Karatsev, no chance. Fair enough. I wouldn't say no chance. You can't really write the guy off. He's just beating everyone. He's beating Felix, beating Schwartzman. You'd argue them two. They're just as good as Dimitrov. They're beating Gerasimov as well. So let's just see how that one goes.
Remember when we were talking about Gerasimov in the French Open, when you said, oh, he gave Rafa, like, it was like one of the best performances you'd seen, like playing Rafa on the Dow, and he managed to get to like 4-3 and 4 or something like that. But then you look at what Karatsev just did to him. 1 game he got in the whole 3 sets. That's ridiculous.
Wait, who's that? Sorry,
Gerasimov.
Oh, Gerasimov. Yeah, no, yeah.
He's a quality player.
Yeah, that's not normal, mate. It's a qualifier. Karatsev, honestly, has just been a breath of fresh air really in the tournament. He's just been next level. He really has been good. I know we was bigging up the other K on the women's side, Kai Kanepi, but Karatsev's eclipsed him. Sorry.
Yeah, apparently he's like, what was it on the last watch along? They said apparently he's up to like number 64 in the world now already with this. With this, if he finishes where he is now, imagine if he goes one more, probably top 50 or something.
Mate, I think he'll be top 20 by the end of the year, maybe even more. So let's just see how that one goes. We've got a mixed view though. We've got Amit here saying Karatsev's going to beat Dimitrov. Interesting.
Wow, love that.
Jamie going intimidating qualifier. Yeah, he certainly is. You don't want to be playing him.
And Joel saying, can you interview some British players, please?
You seem to be a good omen. Yeah, we would love to. I'll tell you who I would really like to get on, Jack Draper. I feel like I always talk about him, but he's one for me who really excites me on the British side of things. I'd love to have him on the podcast and then see him blow up and just follow him the whole way on his journey, because I think he can be someone who could do really well on the tennis circuit.
Yes. Definitely.
And then Jugoslav there talking about Felix. You are bad guys about Felix. Love laughing. Did we laugh?
Mate, in all fairness...
I feel sorry for Felix. He's at the 7 finals, lost them all. He's just lost to a qualifier after being 2 sets up.
It's sad.
He's in a bad way. He needs a sports psychologist at the end of the day now. It's got quite serious for me.
Yeah, I think that there is definitely something mental going on wrong with him. But... let's move away from talking about Karatsev for a second. We got obviously the next one down. We sort of touched on it a little bit already. Rublev, Medvedev, and it's the match we all wanted to see. Yeah, and it's the match between the 2 Russians, the 2 in-form, hard-court Russian, and Rublev were probably one of the best players of 2020. Won 5 titles, and then Medvedev with the back end of last year, winning Masters, ATP Finals, and now at the beginning of this year, ATP Cup. And
the last few months of the year and the start of this year, he's been the best player in the world, in my opinion. The way he's playing,
incredible.
I'm not going to hold back there. Medvedev's been exceptional. You look at his record on the hard courts; he's not lost.
No, I mean, it's really tough to go against him, isn't it? I'm sure Jax will be popping her head up and giving some Rublev. Or some Rublev, should we say, just to try and get him through.
And Mary as well. Mary is a big Rublev fan, but she likes Medvedev as well. So I'm not sure how Mary is going to call it. I reckon Mary could edge towards Medvedev. That's my prediction. We've got Team Grove saying, I'm rooting for Rublev to pull off the upset.
Wow.
Amit as well saying Rublev is going to get the better of Medvedev. I've got a gut feeling. A lot of people are saying this, and I can understand it a little bit. I think he's getting closer and he's sort of bridging the gap. But it's Medvedev, and he's just getting better and better as well. So they're both going. It's like a graph, mate. Where it's just both going like this, parallel to each other.
I know, but I'm
just not sure. I think it's just breaking slightly, but it's still not. He's not bridged the line yet.
I think the thing that most people are forgetting about when I'm in my mind, I'm the same thing. I go jump on the hype, but you know me. In the ATP Finals, I had Rublev winning the group or something crazy. I got so caught up in the Rublev hype, I didn't take a step back. For this match, I'm going to take a step back and look at this from another perspective, because I think Andrei Rublev, if that first serve stops firing, like we saw in the ATP Finals, and if Medvedev just gets the better of him because of his good gas tank and running around the court, he's got amazing court coverage and he has more weapons for me, Medvedev. I think Rublev can be powerful and smash him off the court in a set, but can he do it over the course of a 5-set match? That's my problem with it all. Yeah, and I'm not sure he can.
It's so tough to call. It really is. Very there confirms med all the way. That's good to know. I think I'm just going to go Medvedev purely for the fact that I've got him to win the tournament. But I wouldn't be that disappointed if Rublev was to do it. I think he's a quality guy, a really good tennis player too, and he kind of does deserve a little break. The only thing I'm thinking is, look at this now. It looks very similar to me as a Nitto ATP finals. And Rublev, he didn't fare too well in them under that pressure sort of environment. I remember he come out in an interview after one of the matches and he said, the pressure definitely got to me. He felt he was visibly nervous on court. You see him sweating, couldn't find a first serve. And against Medvedev, someone like his older brother, who just always seems to be getting the better of him, I think we're going to probably see the same again.
Brother,
I'm going to go 4 sets, Medvedev to him.
It is a little bit like that. It's like the big brother syndrome, isn't it? You've got to remember, he's got to the quarterfinals before in the French Open last year. He got to the US Open quarterfinals twice now. Andre Rublev never been further. Is this the time when he needs to step up to the plate? Because you're only ever going to meet these type of players when you get here. Yeah, unless you obviously manage to get higher ranks, then you might be able to. But all of these players, out of all of them, you could possibly see him struggling against a lot of those players. To be honest, like you'd Tsitsipas, Nadal, Djokovic, Zverev. I think
certainly, but he's going to get better and better, mate. Maybe this year could be a bit too soon, but next year he's going to be there for sure.
I think
let's move on to the last one because I know we're running out of time and we've got to get back to work.
Medvedev in 4, I'm going for.
Oh, saves me then.
And then the last one, we've got Tsitsipas, Nadal. And this is the real one that I really wanted to speak about because this is the interesting one for me, or one of the most interesting of the round. Tsitsipas hasn't played a match. He's now nice and fresh coming off. Obviously, Nadal won in straight sets against Fabio Fognini. Looked impressive. Fognini looked a bit tired. Not sure. Maybe he's just played too much tennis recently. And Rafael Nadal just ground him out. Too easy. Really, it was just that standard Rafa performance we've seen in the Australian Open. Get the break, and then we're done with the set, that type of thing. For me, this one is too close to call. I don't think this is a
lot of people are saying it's going to be the upset one. I admit there, Tsitsipas is going to cause the upset.
I think
he's gone for Tsitsipas for the win. Alex as well. Almino. Tsitsipas to the semis. Wow, God, everyone's going for Tsitsipas here.
I think, but the only reason that I think that this is a wise call to maybe pick Tsitsipas is if you look at the other people who have had breaks or had a bye through. Like I'm just going to use Dimitrov as the example here. He obviously played 1 set against Carreño Busta and then had a long layoff. Comes up and smashes Dominic Thiem in straight sets. Tsitsipas just come off of not even, he didn't even have to step on court. So for me, I think Tsitsipas, I think this is going to be a real tight match though. I think we could see it go to 5.
Well, looking at the last 3 here, so I'm looking at their last 3 matches they've played each other, but all on hard court. So we had 2 in the ATP finals last year and 1 in Abu Dhabi, and all of them were 3-set victories to Rafael Nadal. So Tsitsipas taking a set on each occasion. For me, he's only getting better since then. So it is. I can understand people saying it's going to be close, but I think Nadal's going to win still, regardless. Whether he drops a set or not, it's another question. I might even go completely bold and just shock the world. I think Nadal could maybe even do it in straight sets.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Like he's playing so well. It's so hard to go against Rafa. And look, we could still be in for a Djokovic Nadal final. You never know. We could still.
Tsitsipas is erratic. He's erratic at times, and I don't know. I'm hoping we have another one of them days because I want to see Rafa get there. To be honest.
Well, look what happened. I mean, maybe if we just roll back the clock 2 years, back to the Australian Open, do you reckon he's improved anything from then? Because Rafael Nadal beat him 6-2, 6-4, 6-love when they last played at the Australian Open.
What's that, 2018?
2019.
2019. Well, yeah, certainly Tsitsipas has come on leaps and bounds since then for me. So I can understand it being close. I think we could say really close, maybe a tie break in the first set, Rafa to win that one. And I think if Tsitsipas goes behind, I fear that his dad could get on his back, his head could drop slightly, and we could start seeing more of the shanks and sort of under pressure, not really coping with it. And Nadal looks strong, mate. You see what he did to Fognini. He's been playing well. He's not dropped a set. I think he's actually got the record now, or he's coming close to the record, for the most consecutive sets won in Grand Slams. Obviously, he went through the whole of Roland Garros without dropping a single set. He's gone through the whole Australian Open so far without dropping a single set. So his record in Grand Slams right now of not dropping sets is right up there with the best ever.
I know, he's incredible.
I saw the statistic, but I forget it now. I think he might be second to... Oh, I forget now. He's definitely coming close to taking #1 spot.
Well, I'm not surprised as well. He's formidable in these tournaments, but not the same like Tsitsipas. And as we saw, he dropped 2 sets to Thanasi Kokkinakis in that earlier matchup. Went to 5 with somebody who you really should be beating, 267 in the world. So for me, I think he still has the frailties, the mental side of the game. The Borna Coric, when he lost that match in the US Open, that might come back to haunt him again mentally. And that we saw against Novak Djokovic in the French Open, came back to make it 2 sets all, lost the 5th. I think we could see a similar thing here. I think Rafa could be pegged back, but then just take him in the 5th. That's what.
And then we've got Ken Lee here. He's just clarifying the statistic I said. He's second to Roger Federer. With 36 sets. So Roger Federer has won 36 sets in a row.
Wow.
What's Rafa Nadal won? Could you let us know, Ken?
Yeah,
it's close though, mate, and he's on the way to do really well. And mate, I'm going same again. I'm going Nadal straight sets against Tsitsipas.
Wow, straight sets would be. Well, I'm gonna say that Tsitsipas is learning every time. He's a big match player these days. I reckon that he's a better. Well, he can be a better hardcourt player. He's never beaten Nadal on hardcourt. I think this can be the time he runs him the closest in a Grand Slam at least.
Oh, there we go. 33.
So something other
on 33 and Federer's 36 at the moment.
Okay, that's fair. That's pretty close. There's something that was also interesting to note that Alex Zverev, he had his 50th Grand Slam match win, which is pretty good. It's a good milestone to get to, winning 50 matches at Grand Slams. So I'm sure that's only going to increase. I'm sure he'll reach 100 at some point, no doubt. Nice. Cheers to Mary Sky. Loving the preview.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, so that's pretty much our take on the men's side, isn't it? So we've got those, and then we'll probably cover the semi preview when it happens, when we know who's in it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Are we going to do the women's now, or should we do it in another video later on? We could do it maybe later on if you fancy, Ben.
Yeah, I think maybe we should. I think we need. Otherwise, we're going to have to rush through it, and I don't think it's fair to the women that we just rush through their draw. Maybe we do a second video. It's just going to be another half an hour, and we can actually go right into the detail on it.
Yeah, we'll do it the same as this one. If you like this one, please give us a like on the video and hit the little bell as well, so you get notified when we do the same thing for the women later on. It's certainly interesting. So let's just give a quick recap of these 4 here. I'm going to go Zverev, Dimitrov, Medvedev, Nadal.
I'm going Djokovic, Dimitrov, Medvedev, Nadal.
Okay. Nice one. Let's get on with work then, mate, I guess. Back to work. Shame, really, because I'd love to speak about tennis all day. And I can't wait, mate. It's going to be some thrilling quarterfinal action. We're going to be doing as many live watch-alongs as we can for them. I think they're a bit more tricky now, aren't they, with the timings? I feel like they're doing more towards the middle of the night, even more than what it was last week. But we'll just do our best. Yeah, they're starting at 1:30 a.m. the earliest matches now. So the morning ones for 9:30 a.m. for us, so they work out fine. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. If you haven't already, hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We'll see you later on for the women's. And then... I'm not sure if we're going live later tonight, but we're definitely going live tomorrow morning for the big one, Alex Zverev versus Novak Djokovic. Me and Ben head to head. You can't miss it. See you later, guys.